Beloved friends, there is a power within you, older than time, wiser than every book, a power that knows your true supply, and I stand before you today to remind you, money will follow to you effortlessly when you remember who you are. We live in a world that tells us we must run, sweat, and chase every coin, but there is a higher law, a secret so ancient and yet so fresh, that whispers, cease your struggle, for what is yours is already on its way. Every word you speak carries life. When you speak lack, you plant seeds of delay. But when you speak abundance, when you declare, I am rich in every good thing, money flows to me now, easily and freely, you awaken streams unseen. Those words go out like messengers, and they gather wealth for you from the four corners of the earth. Money is not a master, it is a servant. It responds to the melody of your heart. When your heart is heavy with worry, the flow is blocked. But when your heart sings with gratitude, doors swing open. Suddenly, a forgotten opportunity reappears, a new idea blossoms, a call comes out of nowhere, and you wonder, how did this come to me so easily? It came because you released the grip of fear, you stopped forcing, you started trusting, you stepped into the rhythm of effortless supply. The universe has no shortage, there is no competition in spirit. What is yours cannot be taken, and what is meant for you is already circling, looking for you, waiting for your faith to become its invitation. Today I urge you speak wealth, walk in gratitude, let every morning begin with, thank you, supply flows to me now. Thank you, opportunities run to meet me. Thank you, money follows me effortlessly. Say it until the words become a river within you, and when doubt whispers, answer it with faith. I do not chase, I attract. I do not beg, I receive. I do not strive, I trust. Watch then how life begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Watch how bills are met before they even arrive. Watch how unexpected channels open, how you are guided, step by gentle step, into greater abundance than you have ever known. My friends, remember this, you are never meant to live in strain. You are meant to live in flow. Wealth is not a faraway dream. It is your divine inheritance rushing to you now. Walk with that certainty. Speak with that authority, and soon you will stand amazed at the ease with which money follows you, effortlessly, faithfully, beautifully, always. Every word that leaves your lips is not just sound. It is a seed sown into the invisible garden of your life. When you speak, you are not merely describing your circumstances. You are shaping them. Words are vibrations, and vibrations create movements in the unseen world that we cannot measure with the eye, yet we can witness through results. When you declare that you are always provided for, you release a current of power that goes out and begins to draw matching experiences back to you. Too often people speak of their fears, they speak of bills they cannot pay, they repeat stories of struggle and limitation, not realizing that those very words are setting a pattern in motion. What you keep saying becomes what you keep seeing. When you begin to understand that every phrase is a seed, you will become very careful about what you plant in the soil of the universe. A farmer who desires wheat does not plant weeds. Likewise, one who desires abundance must plant words of abundance. Consider for a moment how the world was built. In the beginning, there was the Word, and that Word called forth creation. That same principle lives in you. When you say, I am prosperous, I am provided for, wealth flows to me now, you are not lying, you are aligning. You are aligning yourself with a law greater than any appearance of lack. The invisible supply begins to gather, resources start shifting. People begin to show up with opportunities you could never have predicted. It feels magical, but it is the most natural law in the universe. Speak with faith and you plant faith, build seeds. Speak with fear and you plant weeds that choke the good you desire. You cannot expect a harvest of roses when you have been sowing thorns with your tongue. Think of the times you have spoken out of frustration, declaring, I never have enough, or money is so hard to come by. Those words went forth and worked to make themselves true, because the universe does not filter out your intentions. It simply responds. But the beautiful truth is this: the moment you become conscious, the moment you begin to speak differently, the entire field of your life begins to change. You can uproot the old seeds through new declarations. You can replace words of despair with words of faith, and when you do, the soil of your experience becomes fertile ground for wealth, ease, and effortless supply. Every day, speak life over your finances. Say aloud, even when no one is listening, I bless my income. I bless my bank accounts. I bless the money I have and the money on its way to me. This act is not just ritual. It is power in motion. It is aligning your inner vibration with the truth that supply is infinite, and it responds to your call. Speak abundance in the morning. Speak it at night. Speak it when doubt tries to rise, and soon you will notice how money begins to follow you without strain. Opportunities will appear without struggle, and you will realize that your words have become living forces, gathering wealth from places you could not see. Your words are seeds of wealth, and when you choose them carefully, you create a life where money truly follows you effortlessly. Effortless flow is not born from pushing harder, running faster, or exhausting yourself to the point where you no longer enjoy the very life you are working for. Effortless flow is born from the quiet, knowing that all things are working together for your good, even when you cannot see the full picture. Many people have been taught that struggle is noble, that only through constant striving can one deserve prosperity. But the deeper truth is that alignment brings results far greater than effort alone. When your mind and heart are in harmony with the idea that supply is endless, you no longer force opportunities, you attract them. You no longer chase wealth, you allow it to find you. This does not mean you sit idle or refuse to act. It means the action you do take is inspired, clear, and powerful, not frantic or fearful. Think of the times you have tried to force something to happen, a job, a sale, a business deal, and despite all your hours and sweat, the doors remained closed. Then think of the moments when something seemed to fall into your lap without strain, when a person you barely knew mentioned your name in the right room, when a phone call came at the perfect time, when money appeared from a source you never considered. That is the difference between struggle and alignment. Effortless flow comes when you release the inner resistance that says you must do it all alone. There is a universal intelligence that longs to guide you, to open pathways you cannot yet imagine. When you align with that intelligence through trust, gratitude, and clear intention, you find yourself carried along on a current of grace. This alignment begins within. When you let go of worry, you make space for inspiration. When you replace the thought, "it is so hard," with "I am supported in all I do," you shift your inner state from tension to trust. From that trust, actions naturally arise, actions that are effective because they are not weighed down by fear. You make the right call at the right time. You notice the opportunity that others overlook. You say yes to something that seems small, and it leads to something great. The flow is not forced, it is felt and then followed. Imagine a river moving through the land. It does not struggle to reach the sea. It flows effortlessly, adjusting its path around stones and through valleys, always moving forward because it is simply being what it is, a river. You too are meant to flow, not to thrash and fight against life. When you align your thoughts with abundance and release the belief that wealth must be wrestled into your hands, you become like that river. Money becomes a natural consequence of your alignment, following you wherever you go. The more you trust that unseen order, the more you realize that struggle is not a requirement for success. Your inner alignment is the real work, and when you do that work, life begins to meet you with ease, and prosperity moves toward you with a grace that feels effortless. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and yet it is so often underestimated. It is more than polite manners or a spiritual habit. It is a magnetic frequency that draws good toward you. When you are genuinely grateful, you shift your inner vibration into a place of receptivity. You stop resisting life, you stop complaining about what you don't have, and instead you begin to notice and acknowledge what is already flowing to you. This recognition creates expansion. What you appreciate appreciates. When you give thanks for the money you have, no matter how small the amount, you send a signal to the universe that says, "I am ready for more." And the universe, always responsive, begins to deliver more to match that energy. Most people are waiting for something big to be grateful for. They say, "I'll be thankful when I make more," or "I'll feel better when the bills are paid." But this is not how true wealth consciousness works. Gratitude must come first. It is the signal that unlocks the flow. If you cannot give thanks for the small, you will not be entrusted with the great. Every dollar in your hand is a symbol of circulation, a sign that supply is moving through your life. When you bless it instead of judging it, it multiplies. Gratitude removes the resistance that often blocks money from coming. It dissolves bitterness, dissolves the illusion of lack, and opens your heart to receive fully. Even in moments of challenge, there is always something to appreciate. You can give thanks for the lesson, for the strength you're gaining, for the clarity being born out of difficulty. This attitude is not about ignoring problems. It's about rising above them. When you stay in gratitude, your mind becomes a magnet for solutions. Inspired ideas come more easily. People sense your peaceful confidence, and they are drawn to support you, to offer opportunities, to collaborate with you. Gratitude becomes your silent partner, working behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor. A thankful person sees money differently. They see every transaction as a flow, not a loss. They understand that spending is not depletion. It is circulation. When you pay for something with gratitude, you are participating in a divine exchange. You are not just losing money. You are blessing the life of another, and you are trusting that what leaves your hand will return multiplied. This attitude transforms the way you move through the world. You stop hoarding and start flowing. You stop fearing and start receiving. One of the simplest yet most powerful practices is to begin and end each day with gratitude. Upon waking, speak aloud a few things you are thankful for. I'm grateful for my bed, my breath, my body, my home, the opportunity this day brings. As the day unfolds, notice the small blessings, a kind word, a hot meal, a moment of quiet. And as you lay down to sleep, reflect on what went right. These acts may seem small, but they rewire your consciousness toward abundance. And when your inner world is full of appreciation, the outer world responds with more to appreciate. Gratitude, then, is not just a feeling. It is a tool. It is a gateway. It is the golden key that unlocks doors you did not even know existed. When you walk in gratitude, you walk in power. Money notices. Opportunities respond. Miracles unfold. You become magnetic to wealth, not because you are chasing it, but because you are aligned with the energy of more than enough. And from that alignment, money flows to you, not with strain, but effortlessly, faithfully, and continuously. Supply is infinite and unfailing, though most people have been conditioned to see life through the narrow lens of limitation. They look at their bank account, at their salary, at the numbers on a screen, and they decide that is all there is. But beyond those numbers is an endless field of provision, a source that never dries up. The truth is, everything you could ever need or desire already exists in some form, waiting for you to align with it. There is not a shortage of money, opportunities, or resources. There is only a shortage of faith in the unseen supply. When you truly grasp that supply is infinite, you stop shrinking your dreams to fit your current conditions, and you begin to expand your vision to match divine possibility. This infinite supply is not dependent on one person, one job, or one channel. If one door closes, another will open. If one client leaves, another will arrive. If one idea falls through, a better one is already forming. The universe is not limited by your present circumstances. It operates with countless channels. Imagine the air you breathe that never runs out, no matter how many people are drawing from it. Prosperity works the same way. You cannot take too much, and no one else's abundance can lessen yours. There is a current of provision flowing through everything, and when you stop clinging to one channel and open yourself to the infinite, you will find supply arriving in ways you never expected. Sometimes, people unknowingly block this flow by believing that their income must only come from one source. They chain their sense of worth and safety to a paycheck or a business, forgetting that these are only vessels, not the true source. The real source is spirit, and spirit cannot fail. When you release your tight grip on the how and simply affirm, "I am always provided for," in ways seen and unseen, you allow the flow to reach you through multiple avenues. Suddenly, a gift arrives, a forgotten refund shows up, a new client appears, or an idea sparks that leads to expansion. The supply was always there. Your faith simply opened the door. Begin to practice seeing abundance everywhere. Look at a tree heavy with fruit, at the countless grains of sand on a beach, at the endless stars in the sky. These are reflections of the same principle that governs your financial life. Nature wastes nothing, and it never runs dry. You are part of that same design, and lack is not your destiny. Each time you worry about running out, remind yourself that you are plugged into an infinite source. Each time fear tries to convince you otherwise, speak aloud, "My supply is limitless, my channels are many, and I am richly provided for." This mindset creates an inner peace that attracts provision effortlessly. You stop scrambling in fear, and instead you take calm, inspired actions knowing the backing of the universe is with you. When you live in this awareness, you notice more opportunities because you are not blinded by panic. You respond to challenges with creativity instead of despair. And as you continue to affirm and believe in the endless nature of supply, your experience begins to mirror that belief. Bills are met with ease, desires are fulfilled in perfect timing, and money begins to follow you without struggle. You realize you are living in the middle of an infinite ocean of good, and all you ever needed to do was trust that it was already yours. No competition, only creation. This truth changes the way you look at the world and your place in it. From a young age, many are taught that life is a race, that opportunities are scarce, that to gain something you must take it from someone else. This belief creates tension, jealousy, and endless striving, but it is built on an illusion. In the realm of spirit and true abundance, there is no shortage of ideas, no shortage of opportunities, and no shortage of supply. What is yours is marked for you, and no one can steal it or block it unless you surrender your faith. When you truly accept that there is no competition, you free yourself from the exhausting habit of comparing and competing, and instead you step into the creative flow where wealth naturally grows. Think of how unique you are. Your talents, your voice, your vision, no one else carries them in the same way. That uniqueness is the channel through which your prosperity flows. There may be countless businesses, countless writers, countless artists, but no one can replicate your exact expression. You do not have to outdo others. You only have to express what is within you fully and faithfully. When you stop obsessing over what others are doing, you release mental blocks and begin to create from a pure place. That pure creation draws opportunities and resources in perfect alignment with who you are. Competition leads to limitation because it makes you focus on lack, but creation leads to expansion because it makes you focus on possibility. When you embrace the principle of no competition, you also dissolve envy. Instead of feeling threatened by another person's success, you can celebrate it, knowing that their gain does not equal your loss. In fact, their success is a sign that the field of abundance is active and that you too can receive. Every time you celebrate another's prosperity, you are telling the universe, "Yes, I am ready for more good as well." This attitude keeps your heart open and your vibration high, which are essential for attracting effortless flow. In practical terms, this means you stop chasing opportunities that are not yours and start cultivating the gifts you already possess. You stop copying others and start trusting your inner guidance. You stop shrinking back in fear that someone else is better, faster, or richer, and you remember that your path is sacred and unique. There is room for everyone to prosper because supply is infinite and channels are endless. This shift in perspective takes away the heavy burden of striving. It replaces anxiety with creativity, and from that space, ideas flow with ease. You might have moments where doubt creeps in, where you see someone else's progress and feel left behind. When that happens, gently remind yourself that what is yours cannot be withheld, and that the universe is never late. The energy you pour into resentment is energy taken away from creation. So choose instead to pour that energy into your vision. Speak affirmations that align you with this truth. I create my own wealth. What is mine finds me easily. There is no competition in spirit. Feel the relief that comes when you truly accept that nothing and no one can block your good. In time, you begin to notice a lightness in the way you pursue your goals. You move with inspiration rather than desperation. You collaborate freely because you are not guarding against loss. You share your gifts because you know they cannot be diminished by giving. And as you live in this mindset of creation rather than competition, money and opportunities start to follow you with a sense of ease. You realize you are not in a race at all. You are in a divine dance of creation, and everything meant for you is already moving toward you effortlessly. Let go and let wealth find you. These words sound simple, yet they carry a deep spiritual principle that transforms how you live. So many people hold on tightly to control, clenching their fists around every detail of their finances, their plans, their timing, believing that only by constant effort and worry will they secure what they need. But this tight grip often creates resistance. When you cling in fear, you block the very flow that wants to come to you. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means releasing anxiety and trusting that there is a higher intelligence working on your behalf. It means allowing space for the unexpected, space for miracles, space for wealth to arrive in ways you could never plan. Imagine holding water in your hands. If you squeeze too hard, it escapes between your fingers. But if you relax your grip and cup your hands gently, the water remains. The same is true with wealth. When you live in constant tension, checking your accounts every hour, doubting every purchase, chasing every opportunity without rest, you exhaust yourself and send out a signal of desperation. That signal repels rather than attracts. But when you shift into trust, when you say to yourself, I am open and ready to receive in perfect timing, you change your vibration, you release the struggle, and allow the natural flow of supply to meet you. Letting go is also about surrendering your attachment to specific outcomes. Sometimes wealth arrives in ways you did not imagine. Maybe you expected it through one job, but it came through a side opportunity or a gift. Maybe you thought it would be through one project, but a completely different path opened up. When you let go, you give the universe room to surprise you. You stop insisting on how and when it must happen, and instead rest in the confidence that it will. This shift does not make you passive, it makes you receptive. You still take inspired actions, but you do so from peace rather than panic. One of the most powerful practices in letting go is to bless what you have and release what you no longer need. When you clear clutter from your home, when you give away clothes you never wear, when you donate even a small amount of money with joy, you send a signal that you trust there is more where that came from. You open circulation, and circulation is the lifeblood of prosperity. A clenched fist cannot receive, but an open hand can. Letting go is not only internal, it is also external, and each act of release creates space for new wealth to enter. As you begin to trust this process, you will feel a new calm. You will notice that the opportunities you once chased begin to approach you. A message arrives out of nowhere offering a collaboration. A payment you forgot about shows up. An idea surfaces in your mind that leads to unexpected income. These moments are not accidents. They are evidence of the flow you unlocked by letting go. Wealth follows ease, not strain. It follows faith, not fear. Letting go is a daily choice. Each time worry arises, you can gently lay it down and speak words of trust. I release control. I release fear. I know my good is on its way. Breathe deeply and allow that truth to settle in your heart. Watch how life begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Watch how the weight of striving lifts, and how you begin to move through your days with confidence and peace. In this state, wealth becomes something that flows toward you, drawn by your openness, your trust, and your willingness to let go and let life provide for you effortlessly.